Isekai Anime, the genre where the main protagonist ends up in a brand new world, whether it's through reincarnation, being summoned, or by any other means. Hello Otaku, Mav's my name, and Isekai Animes, my game. In today's video, I'm counting down the top 10 Isekai Animes. A quick disclaimer before we get started. Series that have Isekai in the original Japanese name are fair game for this list. Also, series that have the characters enter a video game that they can leave, like I don't want to get hurt so I'll max out my defense and Sword Art Online, won't be included. Without further ado, let's begin. Number 10. Restaurant to Another World. Restaurant to Another World, also known as Isekai Shokudo, is about a small restaurant owner who stumbles upon a demon girl and gives her a job as a waitress. Episodes play out as the audience learns about the customers, all of which vary from humans to fantastic creatures like elves, dragons, and animal people. Now you might be questioning how any of this is possible, and the answer is that once every 7 days a magical door appears that connects both worlds. Said door allows the inhabitants of the magical world to come into the restaurant and grab a bite to eat. This series is no Food Wars, but among a list of isekais, there's no better way to start off this 10-course video. Number 9. Kemono Michi, Rise Up. What if you were summoned to another world to be its savior but wanted to do something else instead? Well, in Kemono Michi, the pro wrestler known as Ginzo doesn't care about taking down the big bad. All he wants to do is open up a pet shop. That's right, a pet shop. But instead of selling dogs and cats, the animals up for adoption are the monsters he captures while doing quests for the guild. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want a wolfman or a giant lizard? Number 8. The Rising of the Shield Hero. Being summoned to another world as one of its saviors is all well and good, but what if even though you were summoned, you were treated unfairly? Well, that just so happens to be the case for our hero, Naofumi. After being summoned, everything Naofumi owns is stolen by his only companion. To make matters worse, he's then falsely accused of rape. Welp, there goes any support he had from the kingdom. Now Naofumi works to make ends meet as he grinds to level up. But one thing is for certain, and that is that he'll rise to greatness. Number 7. The Saga of Tanya the Evil. Death by train sure does suck, but it's no problem when your next life is just around the corner. Saga of Tanya the Evil takes place in an alternate reality where World War I is still going on, and it follows an unnamed salaryman who is reborn as Tanya de Gorochoff. This little girl has a big temper, and after being reincarnated by an entity known as Being X in the hopes of getting them to believe in all things faith, Tanya must now either start believing in God or die of natural causes. If neither of these requirements are met, their soul will be taken out of the reincarnation cycle. What makes this series stand out is that instead of being reincarnated to enjoy a new life, there's a given reason why our main character was reborn, paired with the fact that in their eyes, they see the one who brought them back to life as an enemy. Number 6. My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. Isekais typically have the main characters end up in a video game-like world destined for greatness. But what if you were reincarnated into the last game you played, and as the villain, no less? In this series, the protagonist is reborn as Katarina Clays, who is the main villain in a video game known as Fortune Lover. This villain must live throughout the events of said game as she does what she can to avoid getting one of many bad endings. To achieve this goal, Katarina will have to go to school, build relationships with the other students, and try to be on her best behavior. Wow, who knew a dating sim could be so much work? Number 5. Konosuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World. Enter Kazuma Sato, a young teen who has recently died and is about to be reincarnated with the option to bring one thing of his choosing along with him. So, what does he choose? Well, it isn't a smartphone. In fact, he chooses the goddess Aqua after she brutally makes fun of the way he died. Konosuba features a cast of oddly unique characters who each has their own quirky gimmick, like only being able to use one spell, or being a total masochist unable to land a single hit. Now with that said, Kazuma uses these misfits in his attempts to defeat the dark forces, and it's so entertaining because every situation they get into can't be solved by normal means. With Konosuba's outside-the-box thinking and great execution, it lands itself in the wonderful place of number 5 on this list. Number 4, So I'm a Spider, So What? Reincarnation can be hard, but when you're reincarnated as an 8-legged arachnid, it can seem as if the world's against you. So I'm a Spider, So What follows an antisocial teen who, along with the rest of her class, is reincarnated after their school is hit out of nowhere by a giant magical explosion. This series has the protagonists start out weak and gradually grow stronger as they try to overcome challenges like achieving independence from their spider mother, surviving its home dungeon as it makes its way to the surface, and even giving its all as it tries to avoid getting annihilated. This anime might have its 8-legged lead struggle for survival, but this web-slinging arachnid is strong enough to hold its own against any foe. Number 3, Drifters. This next entry is all about drifters, and I'm not talking about the people who move from place to place. Think of drifters as the anime equivalent to Final Fantasy Dissidia. This anime is about a war between two gods who summon warriors to do their fighting. But instead of choosing from a cast of video game characters, the warriors chosen are people from throughout actual history. Said fighters include the likes of Joan of Arc, Hitler, Nobunaga, and Shimizu Toyohisa. With an all-star cast made up of historic figures, this is one series that is sure to go down in history. Number 2, ReZero, starting life in another world from zero. Meet Subaru Natsuki. He was snatched from his hermit life on Earth and brought to a brand new world full of magic and monsters. Unlike other isekais where the main character has special skills or an item to make life easier, Subaru only has one power. That power is to restart from certain points in his life if he ends up dying. Now, Subaru does use this power pretty often as he usually witnesses horrendous events that he'll do anything in his power to try and change the outcome. This calls for Subaru to relive most days, as for him to change the outcome of an event requires him to observe the situation, find the source of the chaos, and come up with ideas to stop the chain of events from ever happening in the first place. Number 1, The Devil is a Part-Timer. Working fast food and paying rent are all normal things in life, but when you're from a foreign world, it can be quite the adventure. This is Sadao Mao. He might look normal, but he's actually the devil from another world. After ending up on Earth, he finds he's pretty much powerless and needs to work to make a living. Now, even though Sadao is a working man, it's no picnic as he struggles to understand the ways of being human. This ruler from another world isn't alone in his adventures on Earth, as he's accompanied by his right-hand man Shiro, the hero Amelia, Lucifer, and many more. This reverse take on a typical isekai series is sure to be a devilish good time. That's all for this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and if you're new, subscribe and ring the bell to stay up to date with new videos. I'm Otaku Mav, and I'll see you next time.